Good evening. Good evening, stakeholders on the board and off the board. I have a few points, of which one or two are also direct. I always keep raising this issue about women, but none of the companies in India or anywhere in the world will accept it, I think. And quite surprising that not a single woman is being allowed to come and ask a question, or they are not ready to come and ask a question. There are just 3 or 4 who are representing the boards of most companies. But what companies, what I have seen actually giving importance to women, including a company where director is sitting in this board, in this dais, I can name it Biocon. They have more women, and I don't know, a day may come when Biocon may be, their incomes or revenues may be overtaking Infosys actually, and the number of women who will be representing the board. I saw in their AGM the number of women participating in the AGM also as mobile board. But here I don't see representation, but anyway, I think that's irrelevant. In another AGM or 2, I think I'm going to see it's going to be a futile attempt actually of women participation in India. So women should come forward. That's what I am just requesting, that women should come and ask relevant questions. But why aren't women investors coming to AGMs? Why aren't this one? It's both the women to answer and even the company also. Because when I see at the registration desk, there are no women who are responsible for it. But anyway, sorry if I've taken 1 minute of your time in that. But I have 3, 4 more points. This is an issue which I would like to highlight. Everyone is talking about traffic menace and many other things. But thanks to Infosys, 20 years back, Infosys was the one responsible for, in a big way, to create our city as an IT city. It was already a science city through Indian Institute of Science. But due to Infosys, it was called a technology city. But now, instead of being called a garden city or a lake city, we are turning it into a garbage city. And recently, I had an instance I would like to share just in a few seconds. I have a straight direct point to the investors also here, and sorry, my apologies here before I say this. Recently in my neighborhood, I saw there was an employee of Infosys who was throwing a sack of garbage right near a park area actually, when it is actually against the rules of the BBM. If you are actually creating a culture of educated infoscions, which investors also are supposed to be and employees also are supposed to be. Employees are also stakeholders. Why don't you create more responsible employees outside Infosys rather than inside Infosys? When they are inside Infosys, they are responsible. But when they are outside Infosys, can they be so irresponsible? And I have one point to quote here. Sorry if I'm taking just 2 more minutes of your time. I'm really sorry, though I know it's too late. And the Mumbai team is also waiting. I apologize to the Mumbai team also. Please bear with me. In today's newspaper, Deccan Herald, there is an article saying that BBMP, with the assistance of the mayor, is planning to install garbage wardens to check people who dump garbage in different places actually. Infosys may be taking an initiative through the Infosys Foundation. I have read it that Infosys Foundation is doing some work in this regard. But what about your employees? What kind of responsibility are you going to take of such carelessness? And here I have a direct attack here. My apologies to all the investors here again. I see in this own auditorium actually, you have distributed a bunch of juices to each one of them. I see right in front here, in the first row, someone has drunk a juice bottle and dumped the juice bottle in front of the chair there. If we see the number of juice bottles which would have been dumped around this auditorium, we see the carelessness of, I will accept I am also responsible for it. Is there a need for a spoon feeding from the directors that saying, please act more responsible, please ensure that you don't throw garbage here and there? My only suggestion is, why don't you please put up a board or something saying that be responsible investors, dump garbage in a particular zone and keep this a litter-free zone. If I say just one more point here, this same auditorium, I have actually seen a music performance happening few months back. When there was a music performance happening, this was not a litter zone. This is at present now not a litter-free zone. This is almost a litter zone is what I say. If you collect the amount of litter garbage which investors have thrown here, it will be much more than 5 kgs or 10 kgs. I know that is not going to impact Infosys returns in any way. So if you're going to say, if the investors are going to say, how is it going to impact my share market? You say that you are being Infosys, being more and being culturally rich. Why don't you be more culturally rich, responsible and more positive to change the view mindset of your own Infoscions apart from the investors who are participating in this AGM? Sorry, my points are very aggressive here. Thank you anyway, but I'll come to two more points relevant to annual report. In your expenses, you have mentioned that I am unable to quote the page number. Like the communication expenses has considerably come down, while the travel expenses have considerably gone up. When the reverse is supposed to be true. Travel expenses in 2015 was some figure, I can't quote it, you know it better. 2016, the travel expenses have gone up. Communication expenses, 2015 was some figure. In 2016, it has come down. Communication should go up, travel should come down, especially when you have offshore businesses being promoted and when there is a great person like Trump also who is likely to be the president, or even if he's not the president, he's going to have a big say even if he's in the opposition of USA. People can't write him off even if he's not the president because he's after all going to sit in the US opposition. So that is one point relevant to the communication expenses, if you can throw some light. And one more instance, recently, you have already introduced, I appreciate one fact, in fact in the process of criticism, I think in the entire few minutes I've spoken, I have completely criticized you, I'm sincerely sorry for that. But you have recently introduced a web check-in facility, I appreciate it. But I don't know how many people are aware about it. I was given an ID number when I registered for the web check-in facility online, which was 555006. But when I visited the desk for the registration, I was told to share the OTP, which is called a one-time password. So the OTP was just taken away from me and it was immediately punched in. I think no one will be aware about the web check-in, or there will be 1 in 10 people only who would be aware about this web check-in facility. I don't know, when you are introducing such new tech-savvy initiatives, why don't you promote it? If you promote it, there will be more people who will be registering for that web check-in facility. There will be less use of paper. There will be less garbage which will be accumulating outside your AGMs. I don't know, anyway, I'm just optimistic that things will happen better the next year actually. But one note I will end with, this is also again a criticism, sorry. You are saying be Infosys, be more. Actually in Vishal Sikka's presentation it was actually be Infosys, be more. Here it is being Infosys, being more. Your presentation also in the beginning was almost like being and it was not be. So I hope you would have got my point. It should be rather be Infosys, promote your culture. I think I should have been brief, but I was not brief. I will be brief next time. I will be brief next time. I repeat, but
thank you.
I hope you please maintain that be and being respect to it.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you. Is there anyone more?